Well, an extraordinarily wild day in the Big Ten ends with the unfortunate loss of the Minnesota Golden Gophers at home to Michigan. Tough day to be a Minnesota football fan of the Vikings or the Golden Gophers, because we are now combined 1-6, and nobody wants to play defense in the state of Minnesota. It's unreal. Going to be a long season for Minnesota football fans, isn't it? It's feeling like it. It really is. I expect the Golden Gophers to be fine. This loss is tough, but at the same time, the schedule is highly favorable. Ohio State's not on it. Penn State's not on it. The only other team that I expect to get throttled by in such a manner would probably be Wisconsin later in the year. But at the same time, I see a lot of wins for Minnesota going forward. And the fact that we didn't have a lot of players available, kicker, punter, kickoff specialist. There was a linebacker, 2 starting offensive linemen not available for this game. Pretty brutal in terms of depth. So chalk this up as just another unfortunate situation in the history of Minnesota sports. All the teams, the Wild, the Timberwolves, the Twins, it's just never-ending misery for Minnesota sports fans. So, as I say that as I wear a Red Sox hoodie, I am aware of the irony. But anyway, I digress. So, Big Ten, wild weekend. Welcome back. What a debut weekend this was. And I just wanted to briefly talk about the games. And maybe we'll do this going forward, because on Saturdays, I'm a Golden Gophers fan. On Sundays, Minnesota Vikings. Football all around. Welcome back, Big Ten. Fantastic weekend. Let's talk about it. Friday night started with the Wisconsin game against Illinois. Wisconsin steamrolls Illinois in a dramatic fashion with a new quarterback who has a near perfect game. I believe he only had 1 incompletion, 4 touchdown passes. They don't have Jonathan Taylor this year, so it looks like we might have a new dynamic for the Wisconsin Badgers going forward. So look forward to seeing them later in the season. Ohio State and Nebraska, I watched this one beginning to end, mostly because I was scouting Justin Fields, as it looks like the Vikings are going to have a pretty decently high first-round draft pick this year. And we might be in Justin Fields territory if we don't win too many games. So I wanted to take a good, hard look at Justin Fields, and looks terrific. The ball comes out with great velocity, great touch. He's got a good throwing motion, nice tight spiral. Everything about it is just phenomenal. And the thing that I love about him the most is the mobility and the pocket awareness. The pocket awareness is light years above where Kirk Cousins is at after 9 years in the NFL. Kirk Cousins is too statuesque. Can't extend plays with his legs, can't do any sort of, improvising, make it up as he goes. And Justin Fields would be a dramatic improvement in all of those categories, at least for me. Justin Fields, good game today, 3 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. If you're an Ohio State fan, I think the only thing that you're really concerned about is the running back group, not very good on the ground today. Other than that, phenomenal. On the Nebraska side, maybe you have a little bit of a quarterback controversy brewing. They used McCaffrey quite a bit today, and maybe he's the guy going forward. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to make a call on that just yet. Nebraska fans, if you're watching this, you can let me know what you think. Moving on to Penn State, Indiana. This is probably the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest game or the biggest thing of the day, but the fact that Indiana came to play and punched them in the mouth and was like, no, we're going to effing win this right now with this 2-point conversion. And this is probably the biggest, I want to say, miracle play outside of a Hail Mary that I've really ever seen in real time, because the final photo, if you can find it online, where he's stretching out on the sideline with the ball barely touching the pylon, it's just thing of brilliance. That photo is going to win all kinds of awards, so check that out. Just a wild game for Penn State. You come in as the number 8 team in the country, and yes, I know Indiana was 8-5 last year, and there was a lot of hype for them at the end about, this is something to build on, and they sure as hell built on it, because they took down a top 10 team for the first time in, I forget how long it's been, like 1867, I think is what I read, which is, if that's for real. So Penn State goes into College Game Day next week with hosting Ohio State. So unless they come up with something, they look like they may be headed for 0-2. Rutgers and Michigan State. Michigan State is falling on hard times. They had 6 turnovers today. Rutgers and Greg Schiano, welcome back. I'm not the biggest fan of Greg Schiano. It's just not my not my type of coach, but apparently what he does works at the collegiate level. And Rutgers made a statement today, which was really surprising. I think this was, what was it last year? It took them 3 games to score a touchdown, and then they did it almost immediately in this one. So yeah, watch out, Rutgers in Indiana. Who knew? Moving on, we have Iowa and Purdue, and I'm excited that Purdue won this game because I have some some personal reasons to not be a fan of Iowa. It is what it is. But it's kind of wild that Purdue won this game because they didn't have their head coach and they didn't have Rondale Moore. So who knew? Purdue getting in the win column. Then we have Maryland and Northwestern. I didn't pay much attention to this one other than the fact that Tua Tagovailoa's brother did get the start in Maryland, which I thought was kind of not weird, but just the fact that that decision came out later in the day was, I don't know, kind of off. And he didn't have a good night. 3 interceptions, not going to get it done against Northwestern. They put this one away pretty profoundly. So yeah, I hope good thing for Tagovailoa, both Tua and his brother. So we'll see how it goes. And then the game of the night, for me anyway, was Minnesota and Michigan. Very happy to get prime time at home, number 21 versus number 18. And as I said, I'm not too surprised. I think this Michigan team is a little bit better than people wanted to believe. Still have some great talent like Kwity Paye, who was establishing his presence later in the game as the game went on. And just tough all-around situation to lose the number of players that they had that were unavailable for this on the Minnesota side. But it was nice to see Tanner Morgan play. It was nice to see Rashad Bateman play. It took a little while for those two to get their connection going, but once they did, Rashad Bateman looks phenomenal. I'm not a fan of the 0. I'm not a fan of the jersey change from 13 to 0. And if I could just opine for a second, I'm not a fan of the 0 jersey at all. I just find that weird. It's not a real number. You can't even divide by it. What is this? So let me know in the comments what you think about wearing the 0 jersey. I don't get it personally. Maybe that's just me being an old grouch. I don't know. But yeah, Michigan looks like this offense might be for real. They were pretty unstoppable. So I know we're missing Antoine Winfield Jr. and Coughlin, and we returned 5 starters on defense, but at the same time, Minnesota sports doesn't want to play defense this year. That's just about how it rolls. So, but I do expect better things for the Golden Gophers going forward. I don't think this is going to be a mirror image of what is happening to the Vikings. They're not going to start 1-6. I think this team can definitely win a lot of the games that are on its schedule. Maybe not this one, and maybe not Wisconsin. So maybe 8-2 is probably a good prediction for them going forward, as long as somebody doesn't sneak up on us like that happened with Indiana, Rutgers, and Purdue today. So that is my take on Big Ten action today for the first Saturday of the season. We've got 9 more of these weekends to go. Very excited for it. I'll see you in the next one.